The legal battle continues at the Presidential Election Petitions Tribunal, where the People's Democratic Party is challenging President Buhari's victory at the 2019 presidential election. We have the latest on that tonight. And is Nigeria really on the verge of poverty if the federal government does not remove petroleum subsidy? We take a look at the reality on ground. Hello everyone and welcome to Politics Today. I am Kayode Okikiolu, standing in for Seun Okinbaloye here at Channels Television's global headquarters in Lagos. We continue our countdown and monitoring of activities as the nation eagerly awaits the formation of the president's cabinet. It is now 28 days since the inauguration of the government for a second term in office, and we await the formation of the president's cabinet. Well, our first up tonight is at the ongoing review of the 2019 general elections by Inec. Now, with the magnitude of attention and reaction which the 2019 election has attracted, the electoral umpire has been meeting with stakeholders to take a look at the conduct of the polls in a bid to improve future elections. Today's meeting, which held in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, saw the chairman of Inec, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, commend the commission, and in his words, Inec is the most improved public service institution in Nigeria. Take a listen.
One can very conveniently say, if you look at what happened in our elections, taking the period 1999 to date, I have no doubt in my mind that INEC is the most improved public service institution in Nigeria today. However, we'll never rest on the understanding that we have done very well and we are doing very well. We are convinced that we can do more. And therefore, the purpose of this interactive meeting is for us to explore ways and means by which we can improve the system even more.
And still on the 2019 polls, the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal earlier today adjourned the pre-hearing session in the petition filed by the People's Democratic Party and its candidate Alhaji Atiku Abubakar to July the 1st, 2019. And that's exactly 5 days from now. The chairman of the panel, Justice Mohammed Garba, fixed the date following a request by the PDP's lawyer for time to reply on a point of law to APC's objection to the application. Atiku and the PDP had filed a fresh motion asking the tribunal to halt the delivery of its ruling in a motion on notice which was filed by the APC to strike out Atiku's petition, or in the alternative, strike out several paragraphs. So July the 1st is the next seating date. Keep a date. Well, let's now bring you some other trending political stories. At this hour, here's our political roundup.
Dozens of protesters marched through the streets of Abuja, Nigeria's capital city, in support of President Muhammadu Buhari, describing those who are mounting pressure on the president to name his cabinet as distractions. The protesters, who are mainly members of the grassroots support for President Buhari, insist that the march is to encourage the president to remain focused, take his time to select members of his cabinet who will deliver on his campaign promises. The Nasarawa State Governor Abdullahi Sule has expressed dismay over the dimension of absenteeism exhibited by local government employees in the state. He was speaking when he received local government chairmen at the government house. The governor charged them to waste no time in minimizing the trend.
Well, let's get into the conversation tonight. As always, we focus on the issues that are of national importance. There's the 2019 elections and the aftermath on one hand. There's the expectations of Nigerians from the government on another hand. And there's the government actions and perceived inactions also in the mix. It's a full package tonight. And joining us to unravel all these are two gentlemen. Senator Paulina Sunwago is a member of the People's Democratic Party and former chairman, Public Accounts Committee. He joins us live from Abuja. And next to him is Mr. Aliyu Abdullahi, the vice chairman of Buhari Media Organization. Would like to thank you so much for joining us on the program tonight. Okay, I'd like us to begin with the 2019 election. Senator Wagu, I am almost certain that your party will be one of those that will not agree with the Inec chairman, for example, with the comment he made about the commission having improved, in fact, being the most improved institution in Nigeria. Am I right?
Well, thank you very much. I think the issue of INEC chairman claiming that INEC is the most improved institution in Nigeria, I think that is not right. Considering what we've seen in the past election and even the issue of stagnant elections in various states. So I don't believe that INEC has done very well to claim that they're the most organized institution. I think INEC should be the most disorganized institution I've ever, since we started election in this country. I've contested election 5 times and won. And I don't think this present INEC is doing well to claim that they are the best.
Senator Wagu, now, some people might be disposed to thinking you are saying this because your party, the PDP, are lost in the presidential election.
But it is not true. Anybody can say anything. I'm in PDP, but I don't believe in anything that is not well done. I don't believe in that. Even if my party is wrong, I will tell them. And the issue of INEC's claim on this, claiming that they are the best institution so far, or best organized institution so far,
right,
in this country is not true.
Okay.
Because I said I have participated in the election 5 good times. And I know that the issue of election, in short, I started experiencing the issue of supplementary election when this INEC was constituted.
Right.
Throughout my election period,
okay,
I've never heard anything about supplementary election
okay,
going back.
Senator Wagu, I'd like to take on Mr. Abdullahi briefly on that same issue. Yes. Now, Mr. Abdullahi, you have listened to Senator Wagu. He says he does not believe INEC has improved. In fact, in his words, you listened to what he said. But then your party, the APC, emerged winners in the presidential election on the back of an INEC that has said it has improved. So do you agree with INEC saying, you know what, we think we're the most improved institution so far?
Well, thank you, Coyote. Actually, I'm not here to hold brief for INEC. They have their own spokesmen. They should be here to defend that claim or so. But then, if you talk about the conduct of 2019 general election, I think, yes, I will really agree that they tried, they did their best. And it was an election that was won free and fair. And I'll tell you why. You see, this government has done a number of things. They have at least 4 years to sell their track record to the Nigerian people. And that's what this government did. You know, and also don't forget the Nigerians don't have short memory. Our memory is still long and intact. We knew what really happened in the 16 years of PDP's administration. So we are not about, the Nigerian people were not about to just forget, even though the PDP came and said, we knew our fault and we are sorry, we want you to forgive us, give us another chance. But Nigerians were not willing to just do that. They want to still continue to trust the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari and APC. And based on the track record of what we did, you know, in the last 4 years, is it infrastructure? Is it social investment program? Taking care of the most vulnerable of the vulnerable in the society? Not forgetting that where we found ourselves in the first place, in 2015, was not the making of this administration, but rather the cumulative maladministration over the past 16 years of the PDP. So this government has laid a foundation trying to move the country forward in a forward trajectory and movement. And the people saw that. And they voted for this administration to come back. So
Mr. Abdullahi,
INEC, to me, conducted a free, fair, and credible election. And don't forget, if you look at the IAGA's report, they run a parallel simulation where they anticipated the results, you know, the margin of error between what Inec declared and what IAGA came out to display was actually very similar.
Okay.
There was no
Mr. Abdullahi,
margin of error.
Okay,
So,
now, Mr. Abdullahi, if I may at this point, I'd like us to move forward to another issue, Mr. Abdullahi, and this is for Senator Wagu. Senator Wagu, you listened to Mr. Abdullahi saying that Nigerians have the next 4 years to rate the Buhari administration. Now, 28 days into the second term of this administration, from what you have seen so far, how would you rate the government? Now, this is putting aside your party affiliations, which I'm sure might be very difficult at this point. But how would you rate the government so far?
Thank you very much. You see, my brother here is talking about what the rating of the government. We should not go to that level because if we start talking about the performances of the government, he talked about infrastructural development and so on and so forth, maybe in his own area. But I'm from Southeast, I'm from Ebonyi. I didn't see anything dropped by this present administration. So, but that, be that as it is, I am not speaking for anybody, but I'm speaking for myself and for the party. And I know that average Nigerians are not happy with the way things are going. Forget about what happened in the election, because we know very well that the election was not free or fair. And that is why they tried to have staggered election.
Well, that case is still at the tribunal, so we'll definitely await the outcome of that case. But then,
very well. The tribunal will decide.
Right, and you are confident that your party will get a favorable outcome.
Definitely.
Okay, so let's
believe in the judiciary.
All right,
lawyer, I know what the judiciary can do.
Okay, now let's talk about another issue. Now, something that has been trending lately is a statement made by the Emir of Kano about Nigeria on the verge of bankruptcy and what have you. Now, this is from Mr. Abdullahi. This statement from the Emir of Kano is coming at a time when there's been increasing pressure, I might say, on the APC-led government. Now, this is what he said, and let me just quote. He says, Nigeria is heading to bankruptcy. Do you agree with that?
Well, I don't really agree with that statement, and this is why. Emir Sanusi, presently, he is an emir in Kano State. He does not really have much of the information about what the government is doing. Unlike, for example, if you tell me today that the CBN governor, Mr. Emefiele, or the Minister of Finance comes out to say this, I will believe, because they have more information at their disposal than any other person. But even the Emir Sanusi, I think some people came out to say that that is not really what he meant. He was talking about that Nigeria has to stop paying subsidy, petroleum subsidy, so that at least we can get our the servicing of our debt to our income is high, and that is true. And also, I believe also that subsidy should be stopped, but not before the government comes out with palliative measures that they can put in place that will help ameliorate the suffering that will be resulted from the removal of this subsidy. Because let us face it, we know, yes, maybe some people benefit more from subsidy, but even the masses, still, it has a significant impact on our daily lives. So if there are no palliative measures, transportation costs will go up, and so will every item under the inflation index. It will go up. Food inflation, everything will actually be affected. And that's why the government, if you can recall, the former Minister of Finance, Zainab Ahmed, she said the government is willing to actually take that road. But before they do that, they want to put in place things that will actually cushion the effect, so that the people of this country will not suffer the consequences of removing the subsidy. That is what the government is trying to do. But if you say you remove it just like that, the consequences, we may not be able to recover. It may take us not only
Mr. Abdullahi,
but to through to the depression.
Okay, now I'd like to get Senator Nwagu's opinion on this, being a senator at some point. But before that, we'll take a quick break on the program. And when we return, we'll get back into the discussion. Join us again. Welcome back to the program, everyone. Well, let's get back to the conversation. And we have joining us Senator Paulina Nwagu, a member of the People's Democratic Party and former chairman, Public Accounts Committee, joining us live from Abuja. Next to him, Mr. Aliyu Ibrahim, the vice chairman of the Buhari Media Organization. Thank you so much for your patience. Now, Senator Nwagu, I was going to come back to you on the issue of subsidy.
Point of correction, please. Point of correction.
Okay.
You described me as former chairman of public account. That is not true.
Oh,
I was chairman, Senate Committee on Police Affairs.
Oh, apologies.
Of public account.
Apologies for that.
For record purposes.
All right, apologies for that. Now, Senator Nwagu, I'd like to get your party's disposition to this issue of subsidy. You heard the Emir of Kano saying, if we need to get Nigerians out of poverty, then we need to take away subsidy. Now, the APC seems to have a position on this. But what does your party, the PDP, have to say about subsidy? Remove it or keep it?
Thank you very much. What my party will say is not different from what Nigerians need at this point in time. Let me tell you, my brother here mentioned about Sanusi being an emir that he doesn't know what is happening again within the government. I don't think that is true.
I didn't say so. I say he doesn't have the full information as the managers of the economy.
That is it. So what I'm saying in effect is that Sanusi, having been the CBN governor of this country, I think he has the knowledge of what is happening in this country today. And just like he said during his address, that yes, the president wants to remove Nigeria 100 million persons from poverty, that they still have the capacity to advise him, and that is governance. If some people who are experienced cannot advise the leader, then he cannot do anything all alone. So the issue of subsidy, when Jonathan was the president of this country, the government wanted to remove subsidy, and the APC party at that time decided to mobilize people against the PDP government, and it was not removed. So I am not saying if the people of this country want subsidy to be removed, I think so be it.
All right.
It's not a problem.
All right.
But if they say they don't want subsidy to be removed, so be it.
Okay.
My brother said there must be a palliative measure before removing subsidy. Yes, I agree with him.
All right.
But how long?
Okay, it's interesting to see.
4 years now we have been talking about palliative measures.
It's interesting to see both of you agreeing on this, and that's a rare sight. But then I'd like to go back to Mr. Abdullahi. Now, the statement by the president to take 100 million people out of poverty within the next 10 years has generated a lot of discussion, and I'm sure you understand that. And that relates to the president's social investment program, which your party has been vanguarding over the past years. Now, the question is this. People say this is a tall order for your party, considering the funds available. What's your take on that?
Well, thank you, Coyote. It's true, actually. It's a tall order, but it's actually it's achievable. Why do I say it's achievable? Because we have seen the foundation that actually this government have laid down. And if, for example, we will get our acts together, and by that, I mean not only the federal government, but even the state government, respective state government and the local governments, now with the autonomy coming in. Right. I think we can do a lot, because imagine what the federal government has done in terms of social investment program, taking a lot of Nigerians out of poverty, the Empower, the homegrown school feeding program, the entire value chain of that, and also the conditional cash transfer. I have seen testimony, videos, I've heard from beneficiaries who their lives have been turned around, they have moved into agriculture, and some are in mining and other things. And let government continue to diversify the economy into agri and mining and other things. Let us not depend too much on oil. And let the state governments join in this federal government's mission to take Nigerians out of poverty, especially the states has to actually check within themselves what is our comparative and competitive advantage as a state.
All right.
If a state in the north, for example, I know that I have the benefit, I have the competitive advantage of land size, arable land,
Mr. Abdullahi,
population.
because of our time, I'd like us to move on to another issue briefly, if you may. Now, Senator Paulina Osunwagu, another issue that has been a major public discourse is the pay package for lawmakers in the country. Reports have it that the Senate President came out to say recently that, you know what, we earned 750,000 naira. And moments after, we had another report saying that, you know what, the total package is actually 15 million naira. As a former senator, can you help us demystify this? What exactly is the true sense of things?
Thank you very much. You see, people lay much emphasis on the issue of payments to members of the National Assembly, particularly the senators and the House of Rep members. And to me, I didn't see much that they are earning in that payment. The people are talking about going home with 50 million, this and that. It's not true. The Senate President, current Senate President, has been able to bring out and say, this is what we take home. This is our salary. This is our allowances. And this goes to this goes to this. And if you compare what the National Assembly members are getting from the ministers who are appointed, you will know that they are not getting anything. If you compare the two, a minister can get more than that without even signing anything. But in our own case, the members of National Assembly, I know everything about allowances and salaries have been itemized. It's there in today's paper.
Okay.
If you go to National Assembly, it's a public document. You can get it.
Okay.
So I don't see anything why people should. And look, let me tell you, those who are saying National Assembly members are getting much, let them compare what the National Assembly members are getting from what the ministers are getting. You know that they are getting nothing.
Senator
the people.
Senator Paulina Osunwagu, I'll have to come in there.
To the grassroots.
Senator Paulina, let me come in there. Mr. Abdullahi, final thoughts. We have a short time to go.
All right. One thing is this, actually. Although I've never been in the Senate, I'm not a senator, but I believe the Senate President, this current Senate President, Dr. Ahmed Lawal, he's a man of integrity. If he said that is exactly what he's taking home, and of course there are monies, allowances, and he said that his office and the entire institution needed to function, I believe him 100% because I know he's a man of integrity. Okay,
Senator Paulina Osunwagu and Mr. Abdullahi Aliyu would like to appreciate your time on the program tonight. Well, that's our show for tonight, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I am Kayode Okikolu.